One of the most important questions that I get is, Jay, where should I invest my money? Whether it be my family, whether it be my friends, classmates, whoever I speak to has one question on their mind, and that's, what should I invest in? And they ask, where should I invest? How much should I invest? And if you're in the same boat, my name is Jay Patel, and this is the Learning Ledger. This video, I will be teaching you the 5 steps that you need to take to start investing today. Now, this investment strategy is strictly for the stock market. So you want to put your money in the stocks, mutual funds, ETFs, or bonds. You're in the right place. If you're looking to get into other investments, please stay tuned for my future videos. So let's get right into this. Step 1, before you start investing, before you start putting money aside consistently, you need to determine what your debt looks like and what you can put aside to stay consistent, right? You cannot put money aside and be financially stress-free and be financially free if you do not have a sense of security over your money. If you're insecure about your money, meaning you have large amounts of debt, even at this age, which you shouldn't, but if you do, work on getting that controlled or down to completely zero. You want to be debt free. So the money that you're making, because the stock market is a very volatile thing. There's way too many things that affect the stock market. Mr. President Trump can come out and say something and it'll affect the stock market, right? The Fed chairman can come out and say something and it'll affect the stock market, right? So there's so many different things that affect it. So you want to be in a position where you can watch your stocks go down for that short period of time and not have to stress about getting your bills paid off. So be completely debt-free, or at least in a good position. Second thing, have a good emergency funding. A lot of people don't focus on this, and the reason why I want you to focus on having a little bit of money put aside before you start investing is because I don't want you to have to dig into your investment portfolio just so you can pay the event that has come up. So you're driving on 65 and your tires go flat. That's what, $450, $500 easy. You do not want to have to sell your position just so you can cover that $500. You want to be in a decent position where you can cover that $500 and be financially free. So get your debts covered, get them down, and get yourself an emergency funding, put it in a savings account, lock it away, don't spend it. It is not your spending money. It's actually there for a purpose. Now, that being said, let's go right into step 2, which is to find yourself a goal. Guys, let me tell you a little story about why I started saving and why I started investing. I don't think there is a single 20, 21-year-old or a 15-year-old that just wakes up and decides to invest and save. That was certainly not me. I was a big spender until I got to my sophomore year of my high school. My biology professor, he was a big photography guy, and he showed us his Instagram page, amazing photography, and I asked him what kind of camera he had. I searched it up. It was a $3,700 camera. From that moment on, I knew I wanted that camera, and so I started saving. I started working. I didn't even have a job before then. I started working full-time at a restaurant so I can go buy that $3,700 camera. Well, when I got that $3,700, guess what? I had worked so hard for my money that I realized that this is not a good investment for me. I have worked so hard for this money. I'm going to save it and I'm going to double it into something else. And that was when I decided I'm going to start investing. When I started investing, I started under my parents' account. So I know you can too. I don't want any excuses. Jay, I'm too young. I can't even have a brokerage account. Yes, you can. Get your parents to sign up. You know what I mean? You won't get in trouble. Just get your taxes paid. Tell your parents to, cover that part for you. But I know if I did it, you can too. So get yourself a goal, right? Have a benchmark that you want to be. A goal is not, oh, I want to be financially free. That is not a goal. A goal is, at the end of 2026, I want $10,000 in my bank account. Now, set realistic goals so there's not a pressure to do anything that's immoral or anything that is gonna demotivate you. Meaning, if I say, if I'm investing $5,000 right now, a year, and I say, at the end of the year, I want $1 million, that is just not the reality, right? I mean, there's a bunch of YouTubers that will say, do this if you want to make $1 million, or do that if you want to make $1 million. Reality is they're not even millionaires themselves, right? So consider a realistic goal. Now, that being said, moving on to step 3, find yourself an investment, in a brokerage, which is going to be what you're going to be trading, your trading platform. This is the easiest step that you'll take in this 5-step process, because all it takes is for you to hit a download button, put some of your information in, and boom, connect your bank account. You're good to go. There's nothing more to it. The only thing I would say look out for is to have a brokerage that doesn't have a fee. There's multiple brokerages that will charge you a transaction fee or a trade fee. I personally am not a big fan of those, especially if you're young. Your goal is to save, and you're not a big time trader, so they shouldn't be a fee. I use Fidelity Investments. They have been great to me. Customer service is great. Everything about their platform is very easy and simple to read. But there's other ones out there too, like Robinhood. There is Charles Schwab. There's JP Morgan. So there's a bunch of brokerages out there. Just pick your right one. Pick what platform you want to trade on and make it easy on yourself. Now, that being said, that was your easiest one. Let's get into step 4. Now, this step is diversifying. Before I get into the technicality of diversifying, I want to make a disclaimer about my investment strategy. I am very against short-term trading, meaning day trading. I am against it. Do not do it. I do not advise it. It's too risky. Your money can be gone like that. It's not good. You'll be spending the next 3-4 months trying to recover your money, or you'll be demotivated and you'll stop investing completely. So please, please, please stay away from day trading. My belief is that, I'm sure the people that have perfected this craft make a crap ton of money. I am simply not one of those. I believe that money accumulates and wealth accumulates over time. That is not my principle. That is actually Warren Buffett. He is arguably the best investor in the history of the United States. And so, he always preaches that wealth builds over time, focus on long-term gains rather than short-term gains. And so that being said, don't be a day trader, be a long-term trader. I can promise you'll make a far more wealth. And that's not to say, I'm sure there's YouTubers out there that are making a crap ton of money out there, doing short-term trading and day trading, but there's so many different rules and regulations to it. You have to have $25,000 to day trade consistently, which I'm sure most of you watching this video might not have that, just because we're so young. So that being said, let's get into diversification. So diversification in simple terms, in very basic principles, it's basically having positives and negatives. What do I mean by that? Well, you want to have different stocks and different sectors, right? So you do not want to invest, let's say $30,000 you may have all into the technology sector. That is not good. That is very risky. You don't know when that technology sector might collapse. And I have noticed a pattern that whenever technology is doing this, consumer is doing this. When consumer is doing this, technology is doing this. And so that being said, you want to diversify your portfolio. You want to put $5,000 in risky tech stocks. You want to put $5,000 in conservative ETFs. You want to put $5,000 in financial stocks. You want to put $5,000 in consumer stocks, and you want to diversify that. You want to do that. So at the end of the year, if Meta, like they did last year, gives you a 3% yearly return, well, might cancel out by JP Morgan, who gave you, a great, I think their return, I don't remember exactly, but they were very well above positive. They had a great return. So that being said, let's get into 5, which is one of the most important things for wealth building. If anything, step 5 is the most important thing if you want to see your money compound over time. Compounding is basically investing a consistent amount of money, and that if you invest $100 and that makes interest, well, the next investment will be that $100 plus that interest that you earned, and that's what's gonna earn interest, and then so on and so on. And so that's how compounding works. I can explain it better in a future video, but for this reference, just use this chart right here. And that being said, so you want to be consistent. Do not invest $100 this month and then $400 the next month just to not invest for the next 6 months. Each month there can be a different return, and if you want to use compound interest most effectively, if you want to win in the stock market, the number one thing to do is be consistent. Invest $100. Start small. It's okay if you have to. Start small. 100, 100, 100, 100, 100, 100. You're going to keep doing that. Don't matter. But there is no room for excuses, and that's why I said go ahead and get you that emergency fund. Go ahead and get you that debt. Get you that debt-free mentality, and that way, whenever you get to step 5, you understand what I'm talking about by being consistent. You want to automate whenever your paycheck hits your bank account on the 30th of that month. Go ahead and transfer that money over to your brokerage immediately. Set auto payment up if you have to, but be consistent. I promise to you guys, that was one of my biggest mistakes, is that I started investing very early on, but there was a short period of time where I stopped. And that's when I learned my lesson with day trading and whatnot. And so I wish I had stayed consistent throughout that period. I think I would have made well over $20,000-$30,000 just in that short time frame. That being said, follow those steps, 5 steps. Now, again, you have to do your due diligence. Look at the stocks, look at the market, read the news, whatever you have to. But these are my top 5 steps that I would be taking in 2026 to make money, to start accumulating wealth, and better yet, just to start learning the stock market trend. I promise to you, the more you're in the stock market, the better and better you'll understand it. That being said, this video comes to an end. Your homework until next time, because in the next video, I'll be going over how to read graphs, how to actually place that trade. And so I really hope by next video, you can go ahead and do these 5 steps. Get yourself an account. Clear your debts. Start clearing them as of today. Put your money aside for an emergency fund, right? Set your goal until we meet next time. Have all of that ready, so whenever I teach you how to read a graph and actually place an investment, you can go ahead and do it immediately. Because that being said, guys, this video does come to an end right here. Please leave a like and comment and subscribe for the future videos to come. In the meantime, focus on those 5 steps and start building your wealth today. Thank you. My name is Jay Patel, and this is the Learning Ledger.